Close your eyes and try to remember a specific corner of the late 90s Cartoon Network. It was tucked away behind the neon laboratories of Dexter and the chaotic cul-de-sacs of the Eds. You probably have a hazy memory of it, a certain scratchiness to the lines. This vibrating, shaky energy that looked like more of a Sunday morning comic strip than a corporate animation. The tropical sun didn't look a digital yellow, it looked like a hand-painted watercolor dream. There was this girl who clearly didn't belong there, lugging all that Manhattan sophistication into a world that didn't even have a word for taxicab. This show filled a unique space in the powerhouse era. The whole setup was a student exchange program gone wildly off the rails. Forget London, forget Paris, we're talking about a tiny, uncharted speck in the ocean called Albuquerque. It was home to the descendants of a British shipwreck, a genius 7-year-old, and a self-appointed princess with main character syndrome. That show? Well, of course, I'm talking about Mike, Lou, and Og.
Mike, Lou, and Og. Pretty island. Mike, Lou, and where nobody goes.
It's usually stuck in the forgotten pile, and I mean that literally. As of right now, you can't even stream the show. It's essentially lost media, locked away in the vault. Looking back now, it's clear we didn't just forget it, we fundamentally misunderstood it. This was a radical, independent rebellion against what the standard definition of a hit cartoon was at this time. To really understand why this hit felt so off, you have to look at where this show came from. It was an independent partnership between LA's Kinofilm Studio and Studio Pilot in Russia. The creator, Chuck Swenson, came from Claspy Chapeau, the legendary team behind Rugrats and the Wild Thornberrys. Honestly, that's exactly why I, and maybe even a couple of you, spent years thinking that this was actually a Nickelodeon show. It has the same shaky, gritty line work as the Wild Thornberrys. It even shares a massive voice cast with Nick's biggest hits. You're hearing Nancy Cartwright, who is the voice of Chucky Finster, Kath Soise, who is the voice actor for Phil and Lil. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Those were the biggest stars in animation at the time, and they were the sound of Nickelodeon. I actually had the Nick Splash logo ready for the thumbnail before I caught this mistake. It's so funny because there's a massive irony here. The show was a rebellion against the typical hit formula, yet it was so visually similar to the competition that I misfiled it in my memory for 20 years. It was a Cartoon Network show that refused to look or sound like a Cartoon Network show. The lines in this world have a boil. They're constantly vibrating because they were hand-drawn on paper. The backgrounds were hand-painted watercolors. This is where the legacy hits. When you see the textures in modern shows like Adventure Time or Over the Garden Wall, you're looking at the DNA of this project. It proved that animation didn't need to be polished to be professional. It just needed a soul. It was kind of lo-fi before lo-fi was a trend. In the episode Cashing In, Mike introduces money to a society that has survived on community for centuries. By the end of the 11-minute time slot, the island is a full-blown economic crisis. This show was a roast of the Western ego. Mike is consistently met with the calm logic of Og, who discusses niche and existentialism while building helicopters out of bamboo. It was asking us kind of why we are so obsessed with more when enough is literally right there. If you've never checked it out, look again. This show is a 26-episode manifesto on how to just be. We need to stop chasing the algorithm and start chasing the soul. Thanks for hitting rewind with me today. Next time, we're looking at a mysterious connection between two of the most famous dogs in television history. We're deconstructing the massive shift in how our cartoons are literally raising us. I've done my part in hitting rewind. Now it's your turn. I'll see you in the next one. Stay tuned.
They started printing money. It's great. It's easy to count, and you always know how much you have, but it's never enough, so you have to work hard and make more. That way you can take expensive vacations and relax, but you can't relax because you're spending all your money. So you rush home and work harder to make more so you can take expensive vacations to relax from making all the money.